Hi, and welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I'm Mr. C, a Veruco critic. I hope you're doing well. All right, I'm going to keep this one short. Apologies if the audio isn't as crisp as it usually is. I am currently out of my usual location. But this conversation, oh my goodness, so much fun. I enjoyed this one so much. I don't want to give you um, um, well, I think everybody's highlight is the same. I'm just going to hint at you that it is based on someone's eyeglasses. I'm not going to keep you here too long. I just hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing Big Love. All right. Okay. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming. Sorry, took a slight detour. We are Nollywood Film Club. We do discuss Nollywood movies or have conversations every Sunday, 6 p.m. Wax. What? Today we will be discussing Big Love from Biodun Stephen. We'll discuss what we like. We'll discuss what we don't like. If there's pushback, we'll do pushback, and then we'll do our summaries. If you don't want to come up and speak, you can just leave a comment underneath the space. All right. Nollywood must change. We will start with you. You were first. Please tell us.
Okay. Hi, Vanessa. All right. What do I like about Big Love? I like this movie. I don't know. Not like it's not faulty, but I kind of like this movie. It's not that it's not annoying. Like some movies you just you want to just keep things. You like I'm bored of this movie, but this movie I didn't get bored, even though I have questions, but I didn't get bored. So I like Shafi Bello and Jai Kuti's the way they were, they were being goofy all around. I like that. I don't think it's kind of rare in Nollywood to say something like that. You know, I kind of and they are cousins like I mean they are sisters like that in real life. So I kind of like seeing that on screen because that was one of those things that carried the movie for me. That made it bearable. And I think I kind of like Bimbo and Timini's chemistry on screen. It's fun for me to watch, actually. So I know someone said they are tired of seeing both of them, but I don't think I'm tired of seeing Bimbo. Maybe I think I'm beginning to like Bimbo kind of in a way because I'm beginning to become a fan, and I kind of like with Timini in this. Yeah, I kind of like it, and I like the little boy, even though not that perfect, but I kind of like the boy and his performance. I like the way the names Timini's brother and I like the names they gave them. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, but I kind of like those names, and I like the Bimbo's name too. I like that they were calling Timini's father Papa, Mama, mother, the mother Mama. I kind of like that. There are a lot of things, fun things in this movie that you know you would fall in love with. I love this movie. Not like it's the perfect movie, but I love this movie, and I was like, you're not going to slander Big Love. I won't let that happen. Yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but I love it. What do I like about this movie? I love the dresses. That party scene. I love the dress. Jai Kuti and Shafi Bello, the dress they wore. I mean, the pattern of that. The design. I kind of like it. And then what else do I like about this movie? The extras, especially in the camp. I kind of like that they. I don't think I saw anyone looking at the camera. They controlled the extras in a way that was okay for a Biodun Stephen movie, and and this movie it has art in a way, kind of it has art, and it's it feels real. The characters in the movie they will feel real. They were acting like human being Yeah, the dialogue is not so bad, you know. And then I think I like that scene. I don't know. I know most people would hate the scene where it rained, but I like it. I'm sorry, I like it. I think that's all I can remember for now because the movie was bearable for me, so I like the movie. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Nollywood must change. But that Nollywood is changing for him. We don't know. All right. Vanessa, please tell us.
Hola. Okay, so things I liked about Big Love. That it was sappy. Sue me, man. Nollywood's been depressing like over the past year. Like everybody's been trying to shoot gun and harvest organs and just kill people. Like you guys, it's okay. Sometimes love, sometimes sugary sweet. That even you as you are watching it, to be like, ah, kini is too sweet. Oh, don't you? That's what I felt like. This was sugary, like it was syrupy type sweetness, like it was sappy, and I liked it. I like sappiness, man. Give me sweet stuffs. I like that. Um, yeah, Shafi Bello's magnetic, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't remember how old I was when I saw her in the Love Me Jeje video because that song came out the year I was born. But like the minute my mother showed me that video, I saw that woman and I said, "Yeah, you are a star." And then she disappeared for a while, and then she came back, and I saw her again, and I said, "Yeah, you've always been a star. You are a star. Anywhere Shafi Bello is, I'm gonna watch her. She's my. I don't know what it is about Shafi Bello, but Shafi Bello finds it just. She just pulls me in. Like she makes me want to look at her. And I don't know if much of Nollywood actresses can do that. Shafi Bello draws my eyes to her. I don't care who is in the scene with Shafi Bello, whether they are acting their butt off or they are acting nonsense. As long as Shafi Bello is there, my eyes are on Shafi Bello. And throughout this film, like I was like, woman, the minute she walk in, I'm on the yeah, yeah, Shafi Bello killed it, and I do agree. I don't know. I feel like certain directors, maybe this is the second one because I know Jade Oshiberu did it with Sugar Rush. She hacked that like sister chemistry with the Sugar Sisters in Sugar Rush, and she hacks the sister chemistry in this as Biodun Stephen hacks the sister chemistry in this as well. Then it just feels like my mom and her sisters are that way. They will fight, oh, mama, they will fight, but the same way they're playing and they're laughing and they're throwing jabs, you know, the thing of when she was telling her son, "You're the one that made Carifa talk to me anyhow." I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's so real. Like I really enjoyed their chemistry. They heavily carried the com in this rom com, and not in the annoying silly way, but like I found myself laughing and giggling along with them. They really carried, yes, laugh. I know what I mean. Everybody knows I mean the comedy in the romantic comedy. If I should shock all of you, I badly behaved. but, but yes, it was heavily on their neck, the comedy of this. It was nice to see Teniola Alade say another really good, like I feel like Biodun, I don't know, Biodun Stevens hacked the chemistry in this film. And that's like 90%, well no, that's like 70% of what a romantic comedy is chemistry. Like I really bought that Teniola and Bimbo were friends. Beyond the calling her Zamzam, that I don't know what the meaning is Zamzam if her name is Adina. But beyond calling her Zamzam and like, but it just felt like very natural chemistry. You could see that these people have been friends for a while and like they truly love each other. And like in the way she told her, I will take anything, but don't I will not stand for you not picking his father's call. Like that scene, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. These people are friends. Um she also kind of, I guess, when tested and proven, you might as well do it again. I agree with the person that told Nollywood must change, that they are tired of seeing Timini and Bimbo opposite each other. Now, me, I agree. I'm one of those people, but I get it. I guess they work. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. I love Bimbo, always have loved Bimbo. Me, on Timini, I'm a bit iffy, but okay. I don't mind. I guess again, they have chemistry. So if it works, it works. Cool. Um, what else? Oh, sorry. This is me thirsting after a man. Yeah, Kalu Ikeagu is of beekeeping age, and yeah. Um, I'm sorry. I don't care that they were calling that man Papa. I was watching this thing and I was like, "Sir, you are a fine man." Um, You always have been fine, always will be fine. That man is tall. He's a beaut. I was like, sir, all this papa you're papaing is not working, sir. This is a beautiful, beautiful man. I was testing. The man didn't even say many words. I was testing over Kalu in that film. What else did I like? I may not have loved the use of music, but I quite enjoyed hearing Johnny Drill's Romeo and Juliet in this, mainly because a Bimbo Biodun Stephen's film was the first time I heard what's his name? Johnny Drill. I think it was Ovi's voice, and like the soundtrack was pretty much entirely Johnny Drill. And it was the first time I was like, oh, who is this person? And then I went and found Johnny Drill and I was listening to his music. So it was nice to hear him again in a Biodun Stephen's film. I liked the family dynamics in this. More often than not, Nollywood doesn't do a thing where like there's like actual dynamics with the family members, and like you're like, okay, this family is obviously very loving. It's evident in the way Amir is with Adil. He drove him to the NYSC to the Sterling Bank camp, literally called him about his issues. Even though we never saw the Lina girl, Abi the Dina girl, or whoever the girl was that was pregnant for Amir, we never saw her, but we knew that Amir was going through stuff in his life and felt comfortable enough to talk to his brother and his father about it. It's obvious that they all kind of, I don't know, they all kind of listen to their dad, even though it makes it seem like the mom's in charge, but like they all listen to the man. The family dynamics work for me, and 90% of the time, like with so-called romantic comedies in Hollywood, it just doesn't. The stuff that makes the main characters who they are kind of pushed to the background, which is weird. But I liked this. But that's what Biodun Stephen does. She's very good at these like heartwarming, very full of heart, very human interest, she gets down to it with people. And like I like that about it. So yeah, shushing me. But yeah, I guess I liked that it was sappy. I have issues with this, yes, but I liked it.
All right, okay. Thanks, Vanessa.
Can I say something?
Can I say something?
Please, no.
She wants to agree with me about Kalu. Is that why you are choosing her?
Yes, that's what I want.
All right, so moving on. Uchenna, please tell us what you liked about Big Love.
I'll go after the next person. My hands are slightly full right now.
Okay, all right. So Incon,
so much love, yeah.
Incon, please go ahead. I think so, Incon. Then it would be.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad that you remember it's me, because usually you want to forget. Sorry, I don't know. I had a bad week, so sorry if I'm a little bit more snappy than usual. So I'm actually glad that this is a movie that we picked to watch. It was really nice. It was indeed everything that Vanessa said. I agree. And I do think that, yeah, the chemistry between Timini is not that good of an act. I'm not going to say it's not that good, but like Bimbo is a very, very good actress. Very, very good actress. I mean, she was acting in that movie. Almost every emotion, every something, you could see it in her face. You could tell the things. So she's very, very good. But she has very good chemistry with Timini. And Timini may not be at that level, but like they have great chemistry. And that was lovely to see. I just also have to kind of talk about the writing in this, right? Especially the dialogue. The writing of the dialogue it's really, really, it feels very natural. It feels very Nigerian. And I'm just like glad that they wrote the dialogue, and it was just I don't have that much problems to even say with the dialogue, because sometimes in some Nigerian movies, they've been trying to write big. There was a time when Nigerian movies write big dialogue, and the actors could deliver it well, but nowadays it feels a little off. But also, yeah, this show it's very, the one good thing about Biodun Stephen's writing is like she's a very evocative writer. I mean, like emotional, something that you can see represented. Like you can really, really put yourself in our characters because it seems like she deals with the everyday reality of things that happen. And not only is she evocative, she's also kind of the type of like, it's sappy, but it's a sappiness that actually deals with some of the truths of reality. Like in this, in this, this movie has a better like analysis of like, um class of like the class of how class works in Nigeria than, let's say, Far From Home. And Far From Home, they had like that many episodes to like really actually talk about class, and they put it as kind of part of their something. But and it also talks about things that are like, what I meant to say is that Biodun Stevens has seemed to master how to be sappy but also be realistic in a way, right? It's not too saccharine, it's not too rosy something. It's something that you can take something out of, right? And it deals that, oh yeah, life is painful. Yes, it's painful, but life is still something that we get to live it. And I think that's a type of writing that is very difficult to do because it's so people take it for granted. And most writers cannot do that. Most writers cannot do that. They're either really, really, really into like, oh, everything is tragic or existentialism, or really, really too sappy in a way that it's ridiculous. And I think, yes, she's not a very wonderful, like amazing director that can do visual directing and make a beautiful film. She's not make a beautiful film directing, but she can write. She can write, and that's this movie was really good. It is a movie that you can show to people that I think basic almost everybody will be like take from something from it. And I do mean everybody. I do mean like this is a movie that you can show to internationally, because I think people think when international movie they think that it has to be some great something, but most people just watch movies to just connect with characters and connect with the reality. And this is a type of movie. It doesn't matter. I think it's the type of movie that does well. It might not do well in theaters, but it does well and people will remember it and people will enjoy it. So there's a lot to like. The costuming is it's pretty serviceable and functionable, and it's bright. The colors for the movies, yes, it's bright. It's a bright movie. It's a movie that ends like with bright and happiness. So I think it works. I think it works for the movie. I really do think there's not that much bad to write home about. Maybe the dolly zooming, almost every single scene was dolly zoom. But guess what? They had some sort of blocking. It might be easy blocking because there's usually two people or three people or something in something. But like, you know that some shots were planned. And that's something I would give like effort for shot planning in Nigeria because it doesn't necessarily always happen. But yeah, this movie was good. This movie was sweet. I thought the little kid was cute. Not a good actor, but the little kid doesn't have to be a good actor. He just has to be cute, and it was so cute. Uh yeah, everybody really yes. Yes, yes. So I especially like the scene where um Shafi Bello is talking to her son and what her son did. And she's after gives him the monologue and everything, and he goes on to say that's not my child, and she's about to smack him, and then there's a cut. That's a very good cut. Like I'm like, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's actually I like that. It made me laugh because we all knew this guy was about to get beaten up, and the next thing we see him is doing the apology very well. um
All
so
right.
I can hear the words and the whispers of somebody that likes to do things to me that will make me upset. But so I'm just going to say that's the end. Are you happy, Mr. T?
All right. I'm never happy.
I'm sorry. I apologize for my snappiness.
All right. Thanks, Anka. If Uchen is not back or is not free again, we'll go to
I'm ready.
my.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Uchenna, go on.
Well, how come now? I was waiting.
Yeah, Uchenna came on before you, my G.
I know. I'm only messing. I'm only messing. Go on, Uchenna.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked it immensely. In fact, I didn't really like it as a movie, but as a story, if that makes any story, not necessarily the television series Super Story, but the comic magazine that preceded it. I don't know how many people here remember that, but there was a certain style of, melodramatic family tales that was the hallmark of that particular publication. And this seemed very much in that vein. And I think that Biodun Stevens is really good at that kind of thing. I think it was one of the reviews that I saw, was it in Nollywood Reinvented? Said, or was it in What Kept Me Up? I'm sorry, whichever one it is. I'd like to give credit to the correct one. But the reviewer said something about how Biodun Stevens is really good at showing the dynamics of relationships in small chunks. And I agree with that, really. I don't think that Biodun Stevens is really a big picture director, but it's just very small moments that she does very well. Like one that, really resonated with me, for example, was the point at which Adil meets Adina's son for the first time. And the way that, when you look at the expression on Timini's face, and I'm not a huge fan of Timini. I'll talk about that later. But I feel that, it was captured very well, the way that he didn't even hesitate for a moment or ask any questions. He just immediately embraced the kid. And I thought that moment was really powerful, and it was very small. So I feel that she is able to um, balance these very small moments with the broader moments where you see a bunch of, loud family dynamics. Speaking of loud family dynamics, as has already been said, and I'm sure will be said many more times, um, Shafi Bello and Jaye Kuti were very, very endearing and entertaining every moment that they were on the screen. I thought that Bimbo did extremely well as also. She was very, very appealing in her role. Um, Also, I think I like the music in it. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of the very obvious needle drops that you get in most contemporary Nollywood movies, where they just throw in a popular Afrobeats tune for the sake of it. But I felt that Kulosa at the end was extremely effective for the emotion that was trying to be communicated. So all of that worked for me, and I have to say I was actually surprised by how much I liked it, because I wasn't expecting to like it much at all. That's all.
All right, thanks, Jenna. See, I don't want to hear you say this movie wasn't made for me, because like clearly, see those things that aren't made like movies, you can still enjoy them,
Yeah,
right?
I've been very cautious about the fact that I've said that for the past 2 weeks or so, and I feel it's a cop out. But sometimes I
Yeah,
just feel I have to say
I
it
agree.
because I can acknowledge that something is an effective piece of art, even though it doesn't necessarily have the desired effect on me. But I know who it's for, and whoever it's for will probably love it, but I don't. But this I did.
Oh, all right, all right. Thanks, Jenna. All right, Michael,
All right,
give
guys.
give
It's a
us your
very tumult.
goal. I've
Yeah,
been
it's a
waiting
very
for this
tumult.
one.
I don't know. I'm on the road, so the connection is quite bad. Um, I liked the chemistry with all the characters. It just worked. Uh, Safi Bello was the standout character for me, because we all have an auntie like Safi Bello who would back us against our parents, who vibed with us regardless of the age, and who also told us the truth bluntly and never had two faces, basically, and who was always a good gossip as well. So that basically brought up good emotions and memories of our favorite aunties who have the same characters. Um, I would say this movie gives a Hallmark movie vibe, a good Sunday afternoon movie where you cannot pay attention but not too much, but just does everything right. Not too much, but just does everything right. I liked the story, which is kind of difficult, and for some reason, I'm kind of happy that we're moving away from the standard story tropes that we always get in Nollywood, and this is about something that is actually a lot harder hitting, and it was done right. And I also liked the fact that the extras sort of played their characters well. I know it doesn't really, it's not too much of a talking note, but it didn't stand out too much how bad everyone was, but everything just was right, especially during the training camp. And this movie is good for something that can be sold to the rest of Africa and to the rest of the world and won't come off bad or cringe or too cringe. Because we've all seen South Korean movies that have the same similar tropes that we sort of enjoy the story and cannot ignore everything else. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Michael. Who do we have next? It is Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so first I'd like to say that I'm happy this particular Biodun is back from wherever she went, from whatever experiment she tried. So this is peak Biodun Stephen storytelling for me, in which she takes the everyday story trope and tells it in her own way. And if you're very familiar with Biodun from Joy, you know that she has this way of telling stories in while it's fast, it's also in slow beats, right? It seems like nothing is happening for a while, but she's trying to lay foundation for her conflict or whatever. But in that moment, she's putting in all the heart. So I've sort of like gotten familiar with the way Building writes. She has this her own formula, her own structure that she has followed, for a while. There's nothing wrong with experimenting, but I did think she tried some the way. I mean, she didn't try. She didn't try. She didn't. The experiment she tried maybe just not working for her. But this particular style of storytelling has worked, and I think for me, for Big Love, it actually worked. So, because I like the story. The story even the little bits. I like the what else do I want to say? I like the use of music in this. Reminds me, and I like the music in this because the first act, you know, it started, but it just seemed like so much wasn't happening, and especially when you don't have like a proper dramatic conflict between that time, especially for romance, between that time, rom com rather, from that time to your second act, it tends to get boring, right? But the use of music here sort of like elevated, whatever was happening, and so it's still fun. It's a fun watch, and it's interesting. What else did I like? I like the performances. Honestly, I like performances, especially from the older people, from Kalitebu to Jaikuti to Shakiri. And I thought like the entire dynamic, especially with Calibre, the quiet one, but still with the madness in the midst of this women's madness. I thought it was great. What else did I like? And of course, in our not so many primary cast, I just like everything. It worked for me, right? I was very happy with this particular storytelling because I mean, I've seen it and God knows, I've not had this sort of like experience in a long time. I guess it is a way of writing and which I've come to respect and even, gotten used to. She actually did a bunch of, she did more showing than telling, even though she's still told, but this one was way better than the numerous thing I was having with sister. So yes, this is way better. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's it.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. All right, socialist plus I'd. Please tell us what you liked about Big Love. Socialist?
Oh, me. Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay. Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Okay, so are we doing just what we liked, or
Just
we
what
can
we
do
like at this point.
Okay.
Just what at this point. We'll come to the other part in a bit.
Okay, because it's the other part I'm here for.
Okay. Okay. If you want to wait for that, if you have anything you like.
let me just say the good parts. The scene with Shafi Bello scolding Sheya Wolowo, that was the best scene. That was the best scene because she is by far the best. She was the best actor on that set. by far. She created chemistry with everybody, and the conversation just carried on very naturally. It wasn't too melodramatic the way we can often see in all these Yoruba anti monologues. It was really good. It was really good. I loved her cadence. I loved everything about that scene. It was wonderful. So I think that's the only thing. So I'm just going to stop there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Atas, do you want to give us the things you liked about Big Love?
Yes, I do. So I actually like this movie. It's very fun and easy to watch for the most part. I am a big Bimbo Ademoye fan, and while this was not necessarily her best, it is better than a lot of the things we have seen her in recently, and it kind of gave her a chance to go back to the acting that she is most natural at without being, without the accent or whatever. Um, I enjoyed Shafi Bello a lot in this. She really had the lovable but kind of annoying aunt down. Her acting was very natural, and because of that, she had a lot of good chemistry with everybody, uh, especially with her sister. I thought the relationship between Shafi and the mom was very cute. One of my favorite scenes is somewhere towards I want to say it's the beginning or middle when she first comes on, and she goes to sit with her sister's husband, and that whole little play, "That's my husband, he married all of us." I thought it was very cute. It reminded me of many conversations that I have heard because my mom has 7 sisters. And so it that conversation, it was a conversation that I've heard in many different ways, all the time, and I thought she did it really well. And then even transitioning right into gossiping and kind of like, okay, I'm done with you, husband, you can go away. um I thought that the casting for the dad, Kalu, and Timini's brother, I don't ever remember his name, I just know that he looks like one of my friends, but I thought the cast—
His name is Deza.
what's his name?
Deza.
Deza.
That's had to
Deza
be
the
with
Great.
um
yeah.
I don't know. Deza. So
I know the name of all the
I
horsemen.
I thought the casting was nice. Like there was this sort of resemblance between Kalu and Deza that didn't feel. It just felt like that could be someone who was related to him. Um, what else? I thought the love story was cute and the conflict was believable. It was easy. Even the way he decides to work around it at first is also, you know, relatively believable and easy and all of that stuff. I like that the outfits in this were normal. Like, it's just a lot of the movies that have been happening, they're always wearing like a ridiculous train to work or like the ugliest sparkly outfit to club or whatever. And so I really like that all of the outfits in this are just kind of like regular schmegular. What you would wear to work, what you'd wear at home, normal. And so those were my favorite parts of it. It was just how natural and easy everything kind of felt on screen.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Taz. Just a reminder, if you do want to say what you like, but you don't want to come up, you can just use the comment section and we'll read it out. All right, Mrs. C, tell us what you did like whilst timing yourself.
All right. Anywho, like everyone has said, Shafi Bello, such a vibe. I love her. I love when she's playing the sexy cougar, and I love her when she's on her auntie vibe, her big auntie vibe. It was really good. And she was so comfortable with everyone that, yeah, everyone, when they were playing off her, I think they were better when they played off her because she was so comfortable and she was so easy in everyone's space. So I thought that was really good. I'm gonna say a bad. They shouldn't have called Kalu Papa. They should have called him Daddy. What else did I like about? What else did I like about this film? I think Bima and Timony were fine. Cute kid. I like something else, but yeah, I think it's like it's fine. It's like mostly inoffensive. And when I put on my rom-com eyes, I'm like, okay, rom-coms do feature people who do unhinged things. So, lying to your parents that this babe, lying to your parents that they have a random grandchild that they know nothing about. It's the kind of unhinged stuff they do in rom-coms. It's unhinged, it's rom-coms, it's fine. So yeah, I allow that. I thought that was fine. I think I don't know. Is this a thing? Am I just thinking about the Kujus? I think Biodun Stephen she's gonna Ashrebi. And I kinda liked the whole Ashrebi vibe of the birthday party. I'm like, all right, okay, it's given. It's really given. I guess I think that's about it. Their training camp made me think of NYSC camp, which was which is, I guess, a little nostalgic in both good and bad ways. But yeah, big love. Mostly inoffensive, fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah. First off, Shafi should have been called mommy. I found a lot of this film, the story passable. It works, I think, generally. I don't really particularly there's maybe one thing, but like, if you do your suspend of disbelief, I think it works fine. And I hear people a lot Biodun being very good on really good small, relatable and recognizable dramatic Nigerian moments that she puts in our films. And unlike some of the films we've been seeing, like recently, they do feel quite Nigerian. It's weird. It's watching Jogban again. What at some point, and I remember some people were saying it's not the worst Defender, but Jogban actually still has a couple of things that are just borrowed from Western films. I don't know whether it wasn't enough to like say it's it has gone too much. It isn't Paul Wick, but it's anyway. I'm diverting, but like Biodun clearly this is one of those stories, and once in a while I know because she wrote this one, like she's put some of her heart in it, and this just feels like one of those stories that Biodun likes. I think Bimbo has a performance in this. I'm not as big a fan as a lot of people are about Bimbo, but she has this performance in the car that is more of what I've been wanting to see from her. Is where she is after she's just called Timony to come to her to Father's Day thing. And like we all know, like Biodun has already written, one of her fears is somebody coming in and not staying. And she's made this effort to invite somebody in, and he's shut her down. And there's the way she she breaks down, but like it's this. I don't want to. Is this more trying to stifle the tears? And it's even more emotional. And I thought that was actually a really, really good bit of acting from Bimbo. I think generally she's kind of good in this. I have to credit her for one of the few Nollywood actors that will still kiss on screen. Not because I particularly even really love the kissing that's going on screen here, but like sometimes you just know that it's needed for particular movies. And it just helps sell a scene better if you're able to kiss and not look like your husband will catch you, or the person you're kissing might be harassing you. I don't know, like it's just for whatever reason, she's able to. She's still one of the few Nollywood actresses that can do this. All right. And is there anything else I have?
How can you like Bimbo when you like Beverly? Light and darkness cannot exist in the same place. That's why.
Well,
That's
okay.
why.
I think first off, you notice that actually Beverly. Thank you for reminding me about Beverly, the gorgeous Beverly. Beverly is also somebody who will kiss. And actually, I think Beverly's kiss is better than this
But
one. But I
can't
think this one's more
act.
of
It's
Timony.
okay
I
then.
think this
It's
was a
okay.
Timony. This was a Timony fault. This is a Timony issue more than a bimbo thing. But yeah,
I think whenever you see too many kissing somebody on screen,
I
you're
just
looking at his hands.
I
You're looking for where his hands are.
why is his hands never at where? Hey, yo, it just seems like my guy is trying to take, he's trying to overdo. Anyway, but that's different. That's a different era. Okay, all right.
Sorry, I forgot one good. I thought Shay was perfectly cast.
Okay, all right. That's just shade. That's just shade.
Sorry,
All right.
Shay. Before I.
Grandson, the person who played the deadbeat dad.
Ah, okay.
LD Abilade Abiki lorúkọ òkú.
Yeah, Tess, I don't know if you're familiar with the BBN
Oh, I
law
am.
surrounding. All right. All right. Okay. So we will go on to do the things we do not like. Nollywood must change. What are the things you do not like?
Thanks for having me back. Okay. Even though I like this movie, but I still have a few comments to make. So actually, I think throughout this movie, at some point, I think Bimbo's character Adina was not into the whole love thing, because this movie is a rom-com actually, but one of the characters feels like at some point I was like, you never should like this guy, because I was just confused even before the whole conflict came up. She didn't feel like she was into the guy. That character needed to progress from, okay, not being interested, then you get interested, but at some point I didn't see any sign of interest in the whole the relationship kind of thing. And it was like Timini was always after, maybe Timini was the one putting in all the work. But for a romance movie, you need to show us the characters. They kind of fall in love, and then the whole conflict would try to separate them, and then they'll bring them back together. But throughout this movie, I'm sorry, Bimbo was not into all that. She was just about this is an escape from my reality, kind of. And from that reality, I feel like she doesn't saying that, I kind of feel like she doesn't love a child or what. Because for the whole first act, she was saying, oh, this is an escape from my reality. What reality? Is it the reality of you being a single mother? You hate being a single mother? That's what I feel about this movie, and everything she was saying in the first act. This is an escape from my reality, all this and that. So it feels like maybe they're trying to tell us she's still in love with her baby daddy, or maybe she is being a single mother. I think that's what I'm confused about. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. So Bimbo was not into, the whole thing. I wish they could have more moments of them being in love. She falls in love with him. She forgets about being a single mother and all that. So hiding in conflict. There's something Nollywood do, that they hide conflict. They hide the reason why one character is, they try to like hide. Maybe should I say the internal conflict or what? They are trying to hide something from us. And this movie, I was like, okay, when will something happen in this movie? You can, if you have told us Bimbo as a child from start, it still doesn't spoil anything at all in this movie at all. It doesn't spoil anything. It will still be enjoyable, and it will make us anticipate what would happen next. But it made the first act dragged a little bit, if not because I loved seeing Timini and Bimbo together. The dialogue was a bit fun. Oh my god, I would have zoned out of this movie. But adding that didn't make me enjoy the first act of this movie. And when they brought it up, I was like, okay, is this what you are hiding? We need that, to draw us more into this movie. So and then Amir's cousin being the father of the child, that I know something like that would happen, but for this movie, we're in Nigeria, let's be real, it will not be a happy ending at all. I'm very sorry. This movie, if we are being real and you want to do something relatable to Nigerians, this would never be a happy ending. They are cousins, not friends. So I kind of, it's I don't know, maybe I'm being too real or not, but it doesn't work in Nigeria. I'm sorry. Someone has a chat for your cousin, and then you go ahead to marry the person. You guys will keep meeting, and the whole family thing will keep happening. That you guys will meet in a function or one or the other, and it's just going to look weird. So the parents would not agree. But I don't know. So maybe I'm doing what I feel like that. I don't know, but it doesn't work for me. And then at some point, Bimbo's career growth felt too rushed. All of a sudden, I saw her in one big car. I don't know. At that point, at that place, I was like, okay, what's going on? How was the time? The progression of this movie. Is this after a year or 6 months? What kind of work is she doing that she has a big car now? I knew she changed from bank to advertising, but at some point the whole thing, then she's using a big car. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The brothers' relationship, Timini's other brothers' relationship not been explored. I wish I could see more of his relationship, because it was one of the reasons why they thought they were trying to tell us maybe Timini's mom would be hard on Bimbo. So I don't know why they didn't show us more of that. Even instead of doing a birthday party, I think they would have done that wedding thing. The wedding would have been that party instead. Maybe they were trying to, manage their money, kind of thing. But I think I would love to see that. And what else?
Okay. All right.
Just I have issues with the conflict. That is all. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Nollywood Must Change. Vanessa.
Sure. I just got taken aback by a lot of what Nollywood Must Change said. But I must say the fact that the cousin is the father of the child and a happy ending she happen is the most Nigerian thing ever. It is the most Nigerian thing to ever Nigerian, and it's just I honestly okay, things I didn't like. Yeah, as much as I love, and I'm a rom-com stan. I love a good rom-com. I love a romance novel. My preferred form of entertainment is love. I like watching people fall in love. I like seeing people love, makes me happy. My fundamental problem with a lot of Nigerian romances and rom-coms is they don't show us these people falling in love. So I'm not falling in love along. I'm supposed to be feeling the things you are feeling. But even me, gun safe, I'm in a relationship with you people. I need to feel like I'm with you as you're falling in love with this person. I need to get to know the things about this person that you're getting to know and why you know this person. Do you know when I knew that these people are not in love? And it's not only just a Bimbo's character. It's not only Adina that did not fall in love. Even Adil Gansef, that one is this one is infatuation bordering on obsession, because when he's telling her I love you, I said I can't, if you ask me why I can't tell you. Haba, how can you say you are in love with somebody and they ask you why you don't know? Nobody pay, but I know. She not told me you don't know me say, but I know that you bite your finger. Haba. When there's a child involved, or a whole human being is involved in this love story. Even if there's no human being involved in this love story, is what you know about the person that you claim to be in love with, being that she bites her fingernail when she's upset. She does this one when she's a kiniko. The depth of the person's soul. What about this person? is what you are in love with. Because how their storyline progressed to me, based on what I watch on this TV screen, is that he knew her when they were in university. He used to eye her from before. He did not have confidence to speak to her. As he happened upon her in the training center, nobody pay, here is my chance. And even then, there was no love, because you are telling me you have a girlfriend who you are in an on and off, on again and off again relationship. She's obviously on the phone to her child, which I kind of figured out in like 5 minutes of the film, but that's fine. But like, she's on the phone to her child. In his opinion, in his head, it's like she has a boyfriend. So what about this is love? Like, I'm so confused by how this is love, and I'm supposed to feel the love with you. um did it have the regular sound and menene issues? Yes. I didn't like the rain. It is the ink blot rain, and can we stop with the rain? They need to quit it with the rain. I know it is a romance trope that has troped for ages, but until we can execute the rain, can we not with the rain?
Like we need
Um,
more rain.
can we just not with the rain? Um, I'm so sorry, guys. Love Closer as a song. Love a lot of the songs, to be honest, in this. I just didn't like them in this. It just felt like someone put on their Nigerian romantic songs slash Faji songs, and press play on their Spotify playlist, and it was playing in the film, and I was like, what is going on, man? Like, I liked the SDC in the beginning. I was like, oh, come on, show them, come. And then 5 minutes in, we were playing Johnny Drew. The next 5 minutes, we were playing Banky W. Then the next 5 minutes again, we are, oh, haba. This is not Sound City Top 10. Kilode. What else didn't I quite like? I have to say, I don't particularly enjoy Timini's acting. Even with this, my man wasn't selling me love. My man was selling me obsessive. This, he has big love. I was not buying what he was selling. I'm so sorry. I was not buying what he was selling. It just wasn't doing it for me. I apologize if anyone disagrees. Um I do think, and it's not just a Biodun Stephen problem. It's very much a Nollywood problem. Is conflict and conflict resolution, and the introduction of what this conflict was. Like, was the conflict that she was a single mother? Because as much as they try to make inferences based on Amir's own personal relationship and the girl who got pregnant for him, who's his friend, that and they are not in love with, and they're trying to get him to marry her. Okay, inkling into the fact that his mom doesn't enjoy the concept of being single mother. However, though, from what they told us, what me I inferred from that wasn't that his mother had a problem with single mothers, was that his mother had a problem with a child of their family being outside the house. That was what me I inferred from what that conversation was. Because I won't lie, many Yoruba women would do that. They don't want the child that is born from their family to be outside. If you can marry the girl, you bring her inside. I think that was what I inferred from that, not that the mother had an issue with single mother. So when that became the reason for this bombastic lie, I was like, okay, I'm very confused. Fine, no problem. Hijinks ensue. I don't mind it. If convenience for hijinks, no problem. But then it becomes this whole weird thing, and then the resolution just was off for me. I don't like the t-shirts. It's a petty thing. I don't like the t-shirts at the end. Sorry, I don't like the t-shirts. When I saw the t-shirts, I wanted to strangle them, because why couldn't they have an actual long ass conversation about her insecurities, why because me, I don't know, man. It just felt it dragged in the first act, rushed by the third act. A lot of it, just the pacing of it was wrong. The pacing of this felt very wrong, and I didn't fall in love. Was it sweet and sappy? Yes, but I didn't fall in love with them. They didn't carry me on their journey of love. And I want to be carried along. Nollywood, carry me along.
Okay, all right. But okay, yeah, Nollywood carry Vanessa along. All right, just going to read some of the comments that have come through. Amitripty line. Tripty says love Kulosa at the end. King's daughter says I love Biodun Stephen and Bimbo. a lot, so I'm biased. I love the chemistry between the characters more than the chemistry between the lovers. That's interesting. I love that scene where Shafi starts crying. It was so dramatic. I liked the dialogue between Bimbo and Timney in training school a lot. All right. Okay. Jeremy says, I liked the locations they used. The training center was very believable. I assume this was an actual center. Yeah, because they sponsored the whole movie. I liked Adina's house in Ibadan. All right. Jeremy says some of Adil's actions, changing job locations, telling his family a lie, bringing them into her space were red flags to me. It's funny because like the young let me just say it's the young girls because Biodun Stephen is a babe as well. The young babes are seeing Timi's actions as reds, as big red flags.
Big red flags.
Mrs. C gave me this one in as well. I was like, hey, let the man try. Anyway, social says you're not the only one. I think this was in response to Nollywood must change. I'm literally vibrating here. Where did the big car come from? What's the pacing of this movie? Tara says he was too controlling for me. All right. Okay. So there's a lot of Timmy is giving off vibes. All right. But Uchenna, we're heading to you.
Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, I think both Nollywood Must Change and Vanessa alluded to some of the things that I had in mind. And one of them is that I agree that the chemistry between Timini and Bimbo just really wasn't there. And I felt that the love was a bit too much taken for granted. It wasn't really illustrated. We're just supposed to accept their love because it's that kind of movie. And, you get the obligatory montage showing us all the love moments. I mean, we didn't see them riding a horse on the beach, but it's the usual thing. And I think it would have the story would have benefited from showing a bit more of the love. But one of the biggest problems is with chemistry, and I think I blame for that Timini personally because I don't know, I've just never been able to buy him as a credible romantic lead because there's something about him. There's something about his on-screen presence to me that reminds me a lot of an actor who was very popular in one of our previous old Nollywood golden ages, and that actor was named Emeka Ike. And he was always cast as a romantic lead, and I never got it because something about him is constantly just radiating supercilious contempt. Like he'll be mouthing words of love, but there's something about the curl of his lips and the look in his eyes that just seems contemptuous. And he just always seemed like an asshole to me, and I just could not buy him as a sympathetic lead. And I think Timini is similar to that. I mean, I don't want to, by any means, I do not want to denigrate the brother because he seems like an okay dude, and I think he's a decent enough actor. But I don't think his screen presence is empathetic in that way. He's really good when he's playing the spoiled, entitled man child, who's kind of an asshole. And he's played that role a number of times, and in a lot of the stories he gets his comeuppance and he's supposed to come to Jesus at the end, but he never really sells the come to Jesus part for me. He still just ends up sounding at best whiny. He never I just cannot buy him as a love interest. I mean, even in this movie there's some parts where he'll say some things like, we can make it work, baby, and he sounds sarcastic almost. I mean, I just can't take him seriously in that way. But I don't know. I mean, he keeps on getting cast in these roles, so obviously, I guess some people must be responding to him positively. So maybe it's a me problem, but I just couldn't buy it. Then,
It's not a problem. Sorry. Yeah,
no,
Sidian,
I'm,
go
I'm
on.
glad. No, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Then, the other thing is like, oh yeah, one thing I think Nollywood must change. Said that the idea of this new married couple taking in a child that biologically belongs to the cousin is something that can't happen in Nigeria. I would disagree with that because in a lot of at least if you look at pre-Western times and in certain traditions that continue to today, the concern in most Nigerian cultures about child legitimacy is not about the individual bloodline; it's about the family bloodline. So that child still is of the bloodline since he's a cousin. But it's still a difficult situation how it would be dealt with, within the family, with the cousin not being dead, for example, with him just being in close proximity to the family, even though he doesn't seem to want anything to do with the child. And these are legitimate, difficult questions that need to be grappled with, and they were just glossed over. And that's something that I find in the third act of a lot of contemporary Nollywood movies of this type, where this brute force resolution, where they raise really good conflicts, but they never really, really take them head on. It's just you get to a point where it's like, okay, the movie is about to end in a few minutes, so everybody's gonna kiss and make up, and we're all gonna be happy. And that's kind of what happened over here. And then I had an issue with the editing too, like those gaps between scenes. Um, it was interesting in some parts. It gave an interesting rhythm to some parts of it, but some parts I felt it really slowed the movie down. And then the final point I would make is about the profanity. I don't know. I don't really like the F word in Nollywood movies a lot of times. I'm not a prude about it by any means. Believe me, I curse more than anybody. But there's something about the way people swear in Nollywood movies, specifically the F word, that never works for me. And I especially didn't like it here for this movie that I mean, I can't say it's necessarily a family film. It does have some subject matter that is slightly adult, but it did have a sort of a wholesome vibe to it. And then you just get that scene where Bimbo is just continuously throwing the F word. It was kind of weird to me. I mean, I know that, maybe I'm conditioned by watching Western movies where, you have a rating system. So when you see a certain kind of movie, there's the expectation that you're not going to get this kind of language. And we don't really have that in Nigeria. And in a way, I think that's actually good. But still, it was a little bit jarring for me. Okay, that's all.
Sorry, you had a problem with the cursing, but not them showering
I
together.
think I well, okay,
Like I
so
told you,
that
I said there is some adult subject matter, like I said, but I do not know what it is. There's something when that word that gets thrown out, it just hits like a bullet. I can't explain it. I don't know.
I said the same thing as well. My thing is like it feels like it comes out of nowhere in the sense that you never hear it again in the movie. It's just like and the time you hear it like 5 times within a minute. It just feels so unnecessary and out of character. You just don't know where it's come
But
from. And like it's supposed to be, like it's a tool, right? Like swearing, it's a tool. It's like it didn't seem to have a real need or purpose for being there.
but
Yeah, but for
like
me,
her
I
aunt
feel
and
like if
his
there was
mom
ever
just
a
showed
time
up.
to talk, that would be the time. Exactly. For me,
Yeah,
Well,
if
like
somebody's
that was
family
when
just
the main person
demands like
was.
that,
My
I would
mom
be
just
talking
showed
and
up
flipping all over the
and
place.
said, "This is my
no, because
grandchild."
you fucking flip all over the place. That's you. We've seen you. That's your part of your vocabulary. You do that as well. So it's not out of proportion. If it's shown as a movie where she's the person that uses that kind of language, then it doesn't come out. It doesn't feel
Maybe
like
she
it's
only
come out
uses
of
it under
nowhere.
extreme
Yeah.
pressure.
Like, she have killed him now. Oh yes, she was really angry. Kill him too. Hey,
Look at
because like no, it's just
Nigerians are bad at
no.
making analogies.
My point is just that it felt like it came out of nowhere. I'm
I get
agree
it.
in agreement with Uche.
I'm in
Uche
agreement.
now. No.
Agree.
All right. Anyway. All right. Okay. Income, please, because tell us some things you didn't like. Income, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay, some of the things I didn't like about some of the music choices and the way they use the music choices did not work for me. But okay, I just think there were better choices that they could do and better ways that they could integrate some of those music choices. Yeah, some of the editing, like the fade to white, not necessarily something. And like Uchi said, in some scenes it worked. Like for instance, the scene where Shafi Bilo was about to smack her son after she gave her son the monologue. It worked in that scene, but in some places it just didn't work. Um, there was this continuous. Okay, so if you're somebody who watches movies and you are just a technical person and you like the screen, the way the movie moves, some directors, some people are like that. Um, for me to notice that she was using the same type of way shots in like almost every scene, the slow moving of the camera, And sometimes they would be in the foreground and yet the slow moving on the camera, but they are both already in the shot. Why are we slowly moving the camera like we're going to go into a zoom in, or a, what's it called, when you just want to look like at the face? Like, why are you doing that? I don't get it. You shouldn't be doing this for every scene. Like, it becomes repetitive. It's supposed to be used more deliberately. That's one. um uh I think everybody thinks this is a romantic comedy. I don't think this is a romantic comedy. I think it's more of a romance dramedy. It's more of a romantic drama than necessarily comedy. I think the comedy comes from the foil of something. I never saw it as a romantic comedy. um So I guess that's why some of like the falling in love or something doesn't really didn't really work for with me, because I was just watching it. I was like, this is not a romantic comedy. This is a romantic comedy. Um, for So it works for me. So the whole kind of way they fall in love works for me, because I'm like, this is a romantic drama. The problem for it is not necessarily them falling in love. It's more about the drama that might happen with the family that involves in that. Uh So what other thing? I yeah, I didn't like the fact, the hiding of the confusion. The confusion of making the child seem like a a lover, but I think they kind of fixed that a little bit, because when we get to the scene where Timini was telling Bimbo's character about his brother's issue, you could see her uncomfortability in her eyes, and the way she was moving, which signals to people that, oh, she's kind of like in the same situation. So they didn't really hide it as much, but I did think that, why did you? But since it was just like two scenes that they kind of did that, off. Yeah, it's definitely her decisions and the short choices that she decided to make, on the way she moved the camera. Like, it wasn't, that's, I think that really, really, but again, like Mr. C said, and Mr. C is right about this, Bimbo, I'm not Bimbo, Biodun, Biodun Stevens is not necessarily like a technical director. She's more of a story driven type of director, and she would do the most the most basic for the story, kind of like a Noah Baumbach. Although I will say Noah Baumbach is more of a technical director than Bimbo, but I think they're kind of the same, where they deal with kind of drama, individual human drama. Although Noah Baumbach is more of a, and maybe it makes sense. Noah Baumbach did go to, like, I think NYU film school, so yeah, you paid a lot of money to know how to do technical things a lot better. So yeah, that's kind of, for me, the big problem. Yes, and also I didn't like the ending for one reason. Why is the cousin there? Why is the cousin asking to help her ask the other cousin to marry? Like, we haven't dealt with this guy really completely. I guess we kind of did, because we saw the mother almost beat him up, and he was doing the old video thing, and he's like, I'm sorry, they did that. But like, that's not enough for me to buy why he's there. They could have gotten somebody else to be the one to be there. Doesn't necessarily have to be him. But I get it. It was in the movie, and you have to end the movie together. Get it. But it throws a lot of question into it. Um, and I think that one of the conflict that the thing was talking about was necessarily the conflict of, like, the family may not also accept her, not just only because she's a single mother, but because she doesn't necessarily come from the same class. But also, but they did make it sound like she was the one that was thinking that, more than the family actually thinking that. So I get it. I get that if you internally think that this is what these people might think of me, this is, and you, that moves your something. That moves how you behave. So it is a viable conflict for me. But again, the directing, the the directing is a little bit lacking. Like, the technical wise, I would say maybe Bimbo should. kind of learn when to be more deliberate with her shots. But she is better. And I will say this, she is better deliberate with her shots than Tyler Perry. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the latest Tyler Perry movie on Netflix, where they gave him a lot of money. There was no blocking. Absolutely none. And there's not an excuse for Tyler Perry. You work in America. You have the resources. What the hell are you doing? So there. Beyonce is actually better than that. So yeah. Directing was more of the issue for me. The other things, it was okay.
All right. Thanks, Anka. Just gonna read one more comment before socialist lights comes on. All right. So Pell says, I don't know if maybe 2 minutes off-screen repetition also plays a part, but 100% on Uchenna's assessment, he also really gives up fuckboy. Sorry, his gestures, the way he kisses. I said kissing. When I was praising Bimbo's kissing, I said not this one, because yes. And I said it was more of a Timini problem. Thank God somebody else has said it. Anyway, sorry, his gestures, the way he kisses, are not lover-like. I don't stomach him in this role. It's not vulnerable or believable. Yeah, to me, like the way things are, like even him trying to be more quote unquote vulnerable comes out as slimy, like somebody who's pretending to be a little bit more humble so that they can destroy your life later. That's what it comes across to me. And yes, I don't know whether I don't know actually much of Timothy's off-screen this thing. It's just the way he behaves, and maybe some interviews I've seen from him. Maybe that's part of it. But yeah, it doesn't give me anyway. All right, socialists or socialites, please go ahead. If you have a different name, you want me to call you by, please let me know. I'm just going by your Twitter name. Tokani? Is Tokani
Yes,
better?
can call me Tokani, yes.
All right, okay.
All right, so where do I even start from? Okay, so this movie, I did not expect to cringe as much as I ended up cringing. Like, it was not sappy. Like, it's not enough that they robbed me of a meet cute. Because I wanted a meet cute. I was like, oh my god, how are they going to like bump into each other? How is it going to start? They just did, oh, I know you from somewhere. Oh, you went to this thing. Okay, yeah. And that was just it. Like, I don't know where the magic love started manifesting from, because I did not see any reason for them to be in love at all. Like, there was no reason. I wasn't buying it from Timini. I expected more from their dynamic, because she was orphaned young. She was made a single mother in a country that is not kind to single mothers. But then she just knocks over so easily. Like, she just likes him because he likes her. She likes him because he did this for her. He moved for her. There was nothing. I don't see the connection. And then Bimbo's character, for me, she was not as strong-willed as what you would expect from somebody that has gone through many hardships in life. Like, when she's even resisting his advances, she's doing it very sluggishly. She doesn't sound like a determined person. Like, he constantly crosses her boundary. She sets a boundary. This is what I want. I don't want it to get past this. And then he crosses the boundary and she just rolls over. Like, I don't know. Like, I expected better. And then I refuse that he bonded with that boy so easily. Like, nobody showed us the bonding. Like, were they playing with toys together? Did they have a conversation? Did the boy have a bad moment or a trying moment and then he was there for the boy? No, there was nothing. There was nothing. He was just doing, oh, I bought this for you. I bought this for you. His acting was so lackluster. Like, Timothy's acting in this film was really terrible. Like, the lines were not natural at all. Nobody was acting. Like, I'm not saying the script was bad, but every time Timini opened his mouth, I just cannot believe that they paid him for this. Like, maybe better acting, better chemistry, better pacing would have made it better. But it was like it wasn't giving romantic at all. It was giving weird. It was giving obsessed. He was just confessing love at her face, not like he was loving her. He was just always confessing love at her face. Like, oh, I've always liked you, and now I love you. I love you. I don't know why I love you. I love you. Even she didn't believe it because every 2.5 seconds she was asking him, why do you love me? Why do you love me? She was confused because from where to where? Where did the love start from? Where did the love come from? We don't know. Like, just because there are two conventionally attractive people on a screen does not mean that they have chemistry. They are attractive, yes, but I'm not seeing anything there. She's looking at him like she would look at, I don't know, like a bank clerk or something. There is no passion in their eyes. You cannot even see his eyes with that stupid, ridiculous eyeglass that he was wearing throughout the whole film. You're writing a romantic film where you're supposed to be conveying emotion. You're not even acting with your face. You're just opening your mouth and saying words and blocking your eyes with that stupid eyeglass. Even inside the house, he was wearing that stupid eyeglass. Like, who was in charge of the costume? Why was that fucking eyeglass there? And then the whole awkwardness of being born with the family, knowing that this child is not his child, and all of that. It's like the director was just yelling at her, express discomfort, because she was overacting with her face. She was just expressing the discomfort. Like, are we at a church drama? Why are you overacting? Are you not past this stage? You've been acting for how many years now, and you're still acting as if you're in a church drama? Like, they were just expecting emotional payoffs without the proper setup. Like, you're not setting up this romantic thing well. Where is the chemistry? Where is the slow burn? Where is the build up? Just I like you, I like you. From morning to night, I like you, I like you. Like a guy that is in your DM talking to himself from morning to night. When did she now agree? At what point did she now start falling for him? They just pushed us, like they just held up a cue card, and all of us are supposed to say, "Aw," where you have not given us anything to say "aw" about. I'm sorry, this movie really pissed me the fuck off. Like, are we not grown enough? Are we not grown enough? I understand that, okay, maybe Nigeria needs a movie right now that is talking about breaking stereotypes and stigmas. Like, okay, there are moral lessons to learn from this film. Because, of course, every Nigerian film has to have a fucking moral lesson as if we're in Sunday school. Anyway,
I
need to
just
drink
want to
some water.
apologize on their behalf because they're really annoyed you.
Because the tropes are so bad.
So upset.
The
Oh my
tropes are
god.
so bad.
No.
Like, they do not work for me. Full stop. They do not work. Full stop. Maybe I'm just a wicked witch that does not like joy, but they do not work.
No. You're
Like,
amazing. You're amazing.
even when the trouble started, even at the height of the conflict, Timini was so dispassionate. No single acting from him. He was just opening his mouth and saying words with that stupid eyeglass on his face. He is a disgrace to acting as a craft. Because no, go back and watch that film. He was doing nothing with his face. He will not do, oh yeah, now, like he just memorized the line. All he did was memorize the line. Is it in secondary school drama that he's just memorizing the line? No face acting, blocking it with that eyeglass that is for women. Women's eyeglass. Anyway.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Sasha. Let's do
I support
No. Okay, I have one last thing to say. One last thing to say is that they could have gone deeper. He had an easy life. He has a very easy life. He has a 2-parent household. His parents are rich. They paid him through private school. They have the power to place him in any place that they want. They even have properties to leverage to get him to where he wants to be in life. She is an orphan, and she had to work hard for every single thing that she had. She survived by the mercy of other people. So, at what point do they meet? At what point do their values meet? Where is the connection? How is he understanding and empathizing with her? She's being avoidant, and he's just telling her, I love you, I love you, I love you. He's telling her love. He's not even loving her. He's telling her love.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right.
I think you're asking for too much.
Okay.
I'm
All
changing
right.
my name to
Okay.
Timi's eyeglass.
Do it.
Oh God, nobody has caught straight like Timmy. I will say in defense of Timmy, I think he does wear glasses in
It's the
real life.
sunglasses we're talking about. Ace.
It's the
Oh,
sunglass.
yeah. Oh, the
Ah!
sunglasses. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. It's Sunshaker. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Wow. Sorry, Elizabeth. Actually, I it was supposed to be you
It's
next.
no wahala.
I just want
Okay,
to
so
say that
okay, okay.
the bad week that I'm having, I think I'm very, I don't know. You okay? Because that was a takedown. That was a takedown. I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm good. Thank you, socialist. Thank you. You put my week into perspective.
Okay. All right, guys. So my bad. Let me start with something that I've actually noticed in a lot of Nollywood films. Actually, I also noticed in Biodun Stephen, and I also noticed in Ijogbon, but Ijogbon in the reverse. In Ijogbon, I said that I like the location, especially the houses, because they look lived in. The houses here, especially Adina's house, or is it Zamzam? I'm waiting in the color. The houses looked staged. And that's something I do not like to say. Look, I would have preferred if the house was sparse, empty, just chair and mats. Voila, I would have believed. But there's something about me watching films where lived in areas look staged. It sort of takes the experience away from me. Like, I know it's make believe, yada yada. But when I'm watching things like that, it just sort of like takes the entire, which is my problem with a bunch of YouTube films where, people with low income are living in the fanciest house, but whatever. That's by the way. That's for location. Another thing for me is, yes, both Adil and Adil, be Adina and Adil, whatever the two of them. The reason I really like this film is not because of them. It's about the family dynamic that was going on. And I thought it had a lot of heart and any topic they were trying to touch on because of the kid, Jigga, like. And I've seen this in Nigerian setup where, yeah, if you're a Yoruba person and, like Uchena mentioned, pre-Western, you would have known a woman who gave birth to for her husband's brother. Yeah, there's always some form of those weird ass dynamic going on. I thought it was something to take on. But my problem with, again, Biodun Stephen's films and is that she has this thing where she wants to do a big reveal. Now, if you go back to almost all of her films, which I said is a Biodun Stephen formula, it's sort of like worked for her. But I really feel like pushing her and say, you know what, do something different. But it's her MO where she hides a part of something big, huge in our conflict. And I think because I've seen so much about films, it really doesn't feel big any longer for me because I was waiting for that shoe to drop. I'm like, yeah, she's hiding something about this paternity with the fact that the bobo's name is LD. I'm like, all these names, Zam Zam, LD. I'm like, she started again. She's hiding something from her. And this thing that she's hiding, by the time the review came, I wasn't impressed. Again, maybe it felt like I have been waiting for her to do this big reveal. She did that to in Sister, where Candy's character went and served, yeah, that guy. Anyways, long story. So the way it felt flat for me again in execution. So she has this thing when she's doing big review. Now it's not a problem. The big review, the audience review is not the problem. It's the execution of the conflict, yeah, right? She's held out like, oh, I need to hide something and give you guys something. And rather than give us something to be wowed about, it just felt like, yeah, this conflict needed to happen. This is why it is here. So I wasn't exactly so impressed with you, Omalade being LD. I didn't think so. I'm like, yeah, sure. Can we get to the resolution now? Also, because she didn't set up a lot in the first act, she spent so much time trying to build this connection between Adil and non-Adil. And because she did that and putting music is interesting and all that, we didn't exactly get our dramatic conflict. What we got was that reveal, drama, more drama from the family. Is she not? And again, when you don't set up things properly in bits and pieces, you get what you get in big loves third act. Again, it's not bad. It's sappy. It's nice to watch. It's sugary, saccharine. You can go on bellyful. But the story just doesn't work in a way where it could have been tighter. And yeah, and because of that, you've seen how Adil and not Adil, Adina, Zamzam, they're really not in love. You're seeing it because they're like, are you with him? Is it that it's convenient? You're not gushing. The only time she really like gushed about the guy, not exactly even gush, she was just like, the bobo on the talk love. I'm like, yeah, but what about you? What is it to you? And because we're not getting so much of that from her end, I agree with Oyeko because it comes off as not exactly romantic. And then what is it with the nicknames? Don't worry, it's Biodun's signature. But she's trying to throw you off a sense, like, no, don't come here. It's not exact. Again, if it was a red herring, if for good, but it's something she's trying to set up in such a way where you're confused. Who is Zamzam? Why she's Zamzam? What's the origin of Zamzam? Who is LD? LD? Things like that, right? It's our signature, but it just doesn't work. Again, so it feels formulaic in a Tyler Perry formulaic. You know how you watch that Tyler Perry, and by the time you watch the fourth installment, you're like, yeah, sure, he hates women. Let's pack this shit up, right? And that's how it feels watching Biodun Stephen. Like, there's nothing new you're trying to say. You have the storylines are good, you know how to execute. Again, I agree with Oyingo when she said that, our direction is getting better. I am of an opinion that Biodun directs in prose. She just tells. Yeah, she didn't spend a lot of time telling, which she still told, where Adia sorry, was right. Where Adia told the mom that, oh, I hid it because of you. You don't like single women. I know how Auntie whatever felt. I'm like, Jesus, Biodun, you could have just why did you no? I didn't think that the brothers' angle was enough to establish all that accusation, right? We did get the brothers' angle where, oh, you carry Bele, you must marry the person. But not that she had disdain for single mothers. There could have been way better ways to show it, even in her utterances, even with her sister's utterance, right? I felt like, I felt the way I felt when I watched Elevator Baby, where I felt like the resolution is incomplete, where the actual conversation that should have been had has not been had. And then let me just confess, Shay, see that Andy, when I saw everybody with t-shirts, I put here first fast forward, like, thank you, but I will not be participating. But yeah, that's it about. I really love Beyond, but I really want her to also evolve with her storytelling. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Atas, do you want to tell us some of the things I didn't say?
Yeah, so I wrote down the first four things. Number one, Timini will not expand. Number two, Timini's mom will also not expand. Number three, Timini's chemistry with everyone. Number four, Timini's chemistry, especially with Bimbo. I could have done without Timini in this movie. I'm sorry. I saw a comment saying something about Nepo Baby that actually works, and I don't know where he works, but it's not in acting. He was consistently stiff in this movie from beginning to the end, and in fact, his acting is kind of lends a lot of credence to the next part, which is all the red flags in this movie. He was very much acting like his character was behaving, which was just kind of off, a little weird. I kind of half expected him to bring out a knife if she said no. Like, he was just so intense the entire movie, like, towards her, but it just didn't feel endearing, like, at all. Which leads us to the red flags. Both of them, it reminds me of that movie where I always forget the name, but it's one of my Nigerian horror favorites, where she travels halfway across the world, leaving her daughter who needs her, and then is kidnapped in that man's cabin. And that red flagging happens here a lot. So first of all, this guy, who she has just met again,
didn't really know him in uni, but she's just met him now. I don't even know the timeline for this, but let's say a few months. And he just pops out and decides he's going to claim your child and tell his family that that's his child. And we're just like, yeah, this should continue. Like, let's just keep going along with this. And maybe it's because I'm a single mom. And if somebody just randomly came with his mom into my house, I don't care if we were dating for 3 weeks, 3 months, and they're like, that's my grandchild, it's my child. We're not going in a corner to explain anything. You and your family are leaving my house, and you can explain it to them outside my house, but it won't be inside my house because that's insane. And this child barely knows him, first of all. And now the child is running around calling him dad because everybody's like, oh, this is your dad. And she's just like, yeah, cool. And so it was a lot. It was just a lot for me. It felt very irresponsible on her part as a parent who's going through this whole, I'm a single mom, I have to put that first. Um, but anyways, it was just weird because at that point they're not even engaged and they just met. They haven't discussed anything real. She, the way they build it up, it just looks like she kind of likes him, but I wouldn't say they were in love. Like, it seemed like he had worn her down up to a certain point, and she was just kind of entertaining the idea of, yeah, I'm like, I could do this. And then all of a sudden, he's the boy's mom, or fake dad. All right. So once again, Timini is playing the mama's boy, or like a sort of. He plays a lot of characters where he's attached to his parents on the tits, like, and in this one, he's not necessarily financially dependent on them, but he's still very much playing for their gallery without really any thought to it. All right, The Rain was terrible, but I appreciate the rom-com effort. The ending was so bad. The whole third act, which is a fun Nollywood problem, it just didn't make sense. The conflict that already existed was enough, and they could have just explored that. There was already a child in the picture, a child whose paternity already lied about, and a lot of class differences that they could have played around with. Throwing in that conflict at the end of, well, also this child that you lied about to your family is actually your cousin's child, who also your family doesn't know about, and we're all finding out now at this party. It was just a lot to throw in the last bit of the movie where we should be starting to explore and then resolve things, and then kind of ending up at our happy ending. And so throwing that conflict in there kind of overshadowed everything else that they were already um, building up to that point. And because they're spending so much time trying to address it terribly, because why are you making an apology video to me after all of that? Anyways, because they spend so much time trying to address it, they ignore pretty much everything else. They don't even set the conflict up nicely because there's really no reason why it's not established that the family actually has a problem with single moms. They don't really explore that. And then they never really talk about the issue. Like, it's a lot of big issues going on, and they don't ever address it or resolve it. She didn't know he was coming to the Father's Day thing, even though she kind of heard her son invite him. She didn't confirm with him. She didn't try to call him to see if he was actually coming. But somehow she arranged the T-shirts presentation that was so tacky, while there's all this unresolved stuff. Like, they haven't spoken, because even in the call with the son, I don't think she doesn't talk to him in that call. So it's just all weird. But that's kind of my bad. The conflict in the end that was added was unnecessary. The end was rushed, and Timony wasn't it. And the classes,
Thanks.
socialist, I get, and Timony.
Thanks, Asas. Yeah, no, I'm with you with that bit at the end. Or during the T-shirt thing, doing that t-shirt thing without really resolving or talking anything over. And then he called him foolish on top. Oh, try. Wow, we have suffered. We have suffered. But it happened to Timini, so it's all right. Okay. Timini's character, I'm saying, obviously. I have to say, I don't know Timini. He might be the nicest guy in the world. I'm just talking about his character and the way he performs. All right. Okay. So Shah, please. I know you've been waiting a while. Sorry. It's your turn. Please tell us some of the things you did not like. Shah.
Oh, okay. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, good evening. Okay. So I think Tokoni already brought the house down. But I have a few things I would like to add. So I went through like the 5 stages of depression, grief when I was watching this movie. I couldn't believe what I was seeing at some point. The whole denial aspect, and at some point I started bargaining like, what is happening here? Like, what are these characters doing? Because there's sort of like no logic to the characters, and I think that has been treated already. And I discovered like a new stage of grief, which is like secondhand embarrassment. I was embarrassed for what I was seeing, for what was on screen. Yeah, and valid. It really should be torn down. And I think most of the problems, in fact, if not all of the problems, stem from the script. I think is a bad script. And once you have a bad script, it just really rolls downhill from there. You can't have a good film when the film is not written properly. And it's a very good premise, like, oh, there's this privileged guy that, sees this girl that he hasn't had confidence in a while. And he approaches her, and oh my God, it could have gone that way. But, it felt like the writer did not understand, or the story did not understand the characters. Like, it was the characters were all one note, like, oh, this guy just likes this girl, and that's his thing, just wants to be with that all of this time. And that's all we know about him. We don't know whether he likes beans or rice. Even when the dialogue that is supposed to like flesh out the characters, like how dialogue happens, and we talk to people based on who we are and the kind of like history we have with them, and probably how we are feeling that day. And maybe I just had like my favorite food, like maybe the scene with me talking about English food or something. Just something to just make us feel like these were people, but no, because of course the writing did not understand that. And then you now throw that kind of terrible script now to actors who are kind of less than capable. And first they don't really know how to interpret scripts and characters well. Even if they do, it's kind of short because maybe a lot of them have not really been to acting school. And we get that, we understand, but yeah, no, this is the best we have. But you don't even give these guys equipment to work with. That is good equipment to work with. So of course that's where you see, instead of having like a cutesy love story, you can't. It's very difficult to root for the characters. Nobody has been rooted for Timini because he has in a romantic film. You're supposed to root for one person, but there's none of them to root for. So all of that just stems from there. That's how it just goes down and down and down and down. And so I think that's the first thing. Bad scripts, everything went downhill. Technical, but I think that whoever wrote it is competent enough to learn, because I can see that they know how to at least take a story from start to finish. And that is good. At least you have an idea that finishes. That is great. Fortunately for you, you can only go uphill from there. And then there was no visual storytelling. Of course, I don't really expect that from like not even given what we have. But this one was especially missing, because sometimes there's a way that we just play with color, like it looked like Dragon. It's a way they just did color. They just knew that, okay, this you can keep your eyes on it. The recent one where this guy was John Wick, and it was John Wick. Anyway, where he was John Wick, where he was shooting people. At least the way he was doing that action scene, that's not the first time I've seen Aaron do that. He did it in the film before in Seven, and I was like, okay, these guys are employing some thoughts. So that's the kind of thought that I expect at least many Nigerian films to be at this point. At least look at what your peers are doing now. But this one, I lack none of it. But I think that can be learned. So so the visual theme was just really off. Colors were just all over the place. And I found myself looking away because sometimes color just got too much. I wish there was some really good color grading there. And the shots were just and the shots, since the person who had to edit this was at suffer because the character didn't emote properly. Although Shafi Bello did her thing, did the best what she got, but then you see. So yeah, bad technical visual storytelling, bad scripts. That's I think that the two things I just like to add. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Shah. Mrs. C.
Yeah.
What stuff did you not like about Big Love?
Okay, so a few things. Which things have been mentioned, but I think I'm probably gonna repeat stuff. I think Otas mentioned the irresponsible parenting, and really, typically, far be it from me to speak on someone's parenting, right? I'm not a parent, but bloody hell, why? When she said, "Let's go find daddy," it's like, ma'am, what is this? Call me Nana one and Nana two, and it's one thing to get caught up in a weird situation, but to put your child in that, it really gives irresponsible parents, and that was uncomfortable. Other thing, this guy did really seem like a red flag. When he showed up in where was she? Was she in Oyo or Ogun, or where had she gone to? When he showed up, it was like, oh, okay, he's showing up to surprise her. No, he has moved. Why are you moving? It really felt like cornering someone, because at that point they hadn't established a relationship, right? And even if you establish a relationship, you don't relocate to where your partner lives as a surprise. That's weird. Then what else did he do? And then his mother and this person show up at their place. And again, this relationship is moving super fast, right? His mother and his aunt have shown up in her place, and they've cornered her. And next thing, she's in their house. I'm like, okay. At some point, I'm like, this is moving very fast. This is accelerated, and it feels like he's using other people to corner her into this relationship and keep it going. Then when they have that fight by the beach, is it by the beach, by the pool, whatever, right? And she's like, what do you mean you're talking about a baby? It's only been, how many months did she say it had been? And like, they've moved really fast. They're living together already, blah, blah, blah. What does he mean by a baby? And then he goes, I'm moving too fast. And then he gets up and leaves. And then she apologizes to him. I'm like,
I was looking for
what
next,
is
but you said no. Like, for real.
Yo, I'm like, am I in the Twilight Zone? What is this? Why is she apologizing? Why is he? I told Mr. T, I'm like, yo, this thing looks like love bombing. Like, why is he so intense, so quick? Why do we have to move so fast? When she asked, are you dying? It's like the first sensible response I had received from the film to his speed of this relationship. Are you dying? Do you have an inheritance you have to claim before your 30th birthday? Is this a Niger Christmas? Like, what is actually going on? I was so confused. And I was stressed. And it's like, and again, I could forgive some things for rom-com unhingedness, but no, he was so many red flags. He was such a red flag. And I think some people pointed out, because I was telling Mr. C that the camp bit where, they start flirting and stuff like that. Okay, cool. I can see that. But after camp, I feel like there was nothing done to actually develop this relationship. They didn't put much into them getting together, growing closer. I think there was one small montage where he was in the back of a car and they were in bed together with the boy. But like, that was even after her going, still pushing him away. So like, I don't understand how we ended up in bed with her taking a selfie of her and her son as they were sleeping. But like, so yeah, there wasn't that much time spent in that relationship. Also, I'm sorry, that scene in the rain, right? Where she's trying to run from the rain and she accidentally falls onto him. And next thing, somebody's offing clothes. Like, you people are outside. This is not Hollywood. People are in Nigeria. They're outside. You're taking your clothes off out. Okay, all right, sure. Maybe, maybe it's just not my style. And then like the next scene, what was that scene with the dick print? Was it a dick print? Was it a burn up? Yeah, when he woke up, what was that? Yeah. Okay.
It's big love.
It's big love. That's the big love. Every time they're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, your big love. I'm like, my sister, it doesn't seem like this is, I'm just not used to being loved. Maybe you're not used to being love bombed, and that's okay. But yeah, I don't know, man. This film, the romance stressed me. The irresponsible parenting stressed me. The love bombing stressed me. It's like I want to see them. Oh, my timer has gone off. I want to see them like 3, 4, 5 years down the line and, see that she's okay. Not tied in a basement somewhere. That's what I want to see.
Okay. All right. Wait, we lost. All right. All right. Thanks, Mrs. C. There are a couple of people who just come on. I'm just going to give Ozunu chance to say whether you liked but what you liked, what you didn't like. Ozunu, if you want to tell us, you do have 5 minutes. So. Ozunu, are you there? All right. What I did not like. All right, so I'm not as animated as anybody. Anybody is about it. I don't know why. I watched this film after watching Killers of the Flower Moon, and I have to say I don't know what that did for the film. I'm just telling you my mindset as I saw this. So even though like this is actually not this isn't by any stretch of the imagination one of Biodun's worst production. It's not. It's much better than even something like Sister, for example. But yeah, I think people have talked about like her production things. Yeah, it seemed like she was also trying to scale forward, and I commend her for that. But the more you try to be more ambitious, the harder that is, and the more you're going to trip up in certain areas. So I'm just saying, I noticed a lot of those things. There's no need to talk about them on here at this point. Just yeah. I thought this, for the most part, felt like Biodun in second gear. I've seen Biodun do all of these things much better. I think I'm close to this where Elizabeth says, it's kind of a Biodun story, which isn't a problem for me, but this is a very basic. This feels like the most low-level Biodun story without any big issues, but a lot of people have complained about Timothy's red flag. And I wouldn't, if this film had more comedy to it, like a rom-com and a bit more creativity behind some of the things people are judging as red flags, I think would be fine. So like I think something like Mrs. C has alluded to when she's talking about, rom-coms do have people do unhinged things. If you go watch some of your favorite rom-coms from either from the noughties or the 90s, you'll at least do some unhinged stuff. The difference is that they're actually kind of creative in the thing that you almost want to go, I'm thinking about the most obvious one is the guy with the boombox, carrying a boombox, playing music over his head. There is
that one where he falls into a coma and she pretends to be his fiance.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just like the avenue in which you decide to take your unhingedness should be a reason, an escape to make something either a little bit more charming or like make the conflict a little bit more interesting or make you someone laugh even harder. It just should be in service of something, not just just on the surface red flag, right? Something that can be visible. Aside that, I also thought that it was very, for me, again, remember my headspace. I don't even know if that has anything to do with this, but this came across to me as quite dull, with the exception of Shafi Bello in a couple of places. It's just that when we're watching it and Bimbo picks up the phone and says, honey, we're like, I think Mrs. C, I was thinking it, Mrs. C says, oh, that's going to be her child. And then as soon as, Timony meets Bimbo and her kid, we're like, I said, what is the father? What's gonna like? It's just the father just not really addressed. It's like, okay, that's going to be the thing at the end, and I'm thinking, is it going to be Timini's dad, Timini's brother, or whichever of the other male cast we have close to the thing? And obviously, it's just like, but like, you're just waiting for it. But like, it's such a something that one should really deal with, that like the conflict doesn't carry any weight for me, because I'm like, why are you not addressing that? That's such a obvious thing that one should address. Just ask my guy's father is. Well, I know he knew it was it LD or whatever, but like, you need to know things about the guy's father, especially for someone who you want to be serious with. Anyway, but I guess when you start hiding it, we're like, all right, so it's because it's going to be a twist. But like, it just didn't feel like something worth holding on to. It didn't make it exciting. So when that conflict eventually comes to an end, I'm like, okay. Yeah. And so, they're going to obviously get back together, and then they get back together in the most cringe way. It's just like, so like, I mean, like, the story completely works in the broad sense of the word. Fine, completely from beginning to end. Like somebody said, it does have, the conflict is there, the resolution is there. It's just like, none of it was interesting for me. And I didn't buy the chemistry. So if it was a rom-com, didn't buy the romance, didn't really buy the comedy. But yeah, anyway, that's me. Does anyone have any pushback on something someone else said? I think my pushback is just, I don't think that this is not a rom-com. I think some people mentioned that this was a rom-com earlier on.
I mean, isn't it a rom-com? Why isn't it a rom-com? It has all the rom-com elements, just badly done.
It's just a romance.
No.
Like, it's just a romantic drama.
No, it's
comedy. It's more comedy than drama.
I don't know. I think it's not a rom-com. I don't think it is. It's not a rom-com.
Okay, so what is it?
But you can't say it's a drama.
I'm saying,
It's comedy. The sisters
it's
give it
more.
comedy.
It's a drama. It's like a romance dramedy, and it's more of a family.
There's no dramedy.
There's no drama in there.
Wait. Okay, like, if you think, the reason why I'm saying if you think about any part of all of their romance is played completely straight. There's nothing goofy about any of them. There's nothing like,
we get
it's
the
not
goofy from his mom
and their aunt. Like, that's the comedy.
But that's not. That's not how the rom-com works.
It is a rom-com.
I don't know why. Like, this is I can see why somebody might think that. Again, I personally believe that genres don't really exist, because anything can mix up. But I don't think this is like a rom-com in the classic rom-com kind of way. And I feel like if you're using that to judge this movie,
we're not saying it's well executed. We're not saying it's a well executed.
You're judging it as like it's a classic rom-com, but it's not a rom-com.
It's a rom-com.
It's not a rom-com. There can be comedy. There can be.
All right, wait. You cannot wait here. I said wait. I said wait. Let's do it turn by turn, because we're just speaking over each other at this point. But like, my point about rom-coms is like, usually in rom-coms, there's something that is comedic about our leads' performances. In all drama, you can have a funny side. You can have a comic character, right? Like all Disney sort of adventure sort of have the comic side characters. Comic side characters are part of a lot of genres, right? So but in rom-com, like, you'll usually get either a clumsy female lead or a clumsy male lead, or somebody who is, I think the more modern version now is that somebody who's very much in their head, and they're funny because of that. Or somebody who's a bit of an asshole, but a funny asshole. But it's just like, you will get comedy from one of the leads. It's like, because the romance and the comedy are supposed to be intertwined in it, and that's the whole point of rom-com. I would think anyway. That's what it feels like that for me. But what would be the pushback to that?
Me, I've said what I
Well, I
Anyways,
said.
mean,
I'm not
I
going
never,
to
I
argue
never
with
viewed
you.
this as I never viewed this as a romantic comedy either. I wasn't really sure why people were saying it's a romantic comedy. If it is supposed to be, I don't think it was supposed to be a romantic comedy. If it was trying to be one, then that changes my estimation of the movie because it didn't succeed in being that. I thought it was a romantic melodrama with some comedic side characters. I'm gonna push back on Mr. C a little bit. I don't think that in a romantic comedy that the comedy needs to derive from the main characters per se, but it has to arise from the situation. For example, in a romantic comedy, there would be some sort of comedic hijinks around them trying to hide the paternity of the child, or maybe somebody takes the child off without their knowing to go have a DNA test, and they have to subvert that. Some sort of comedy that arises around the actual conflict at hand.
Your comedy
And
is different.
But you're saying the same
Yeah.
thing.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So
But here we just happen to have some funny aunties, and that's fine. But
the
they don't make
aunties
the
are
actual
part of the
story a comedy.
story, and they are directly
Yeah,
part of the conflict and what makes the conflict comedy. Because even them breaking into our house and my son, my grandson, whatever, that whole entire thing is comedy. It's badly done comedy because it
I
comes
agree.
off
I
as
know, I
a
agree.
red
It is comedy.
flag,
It is.
but it is comedy. And so when you guys are saying it's not a rom-com, it feels like you guys are saying it was not executed well as a rom-com. I just don't see how you guys can get a drama or a dramedy from this, or
Yeah,
even melodrama,
because
I mean, well, you
because
know
it
what?
the
seems like
romance is too
I
straight.
Okay,
pause.
and
Let
let
me
me, I,
finish. It seems like you guys are juxtaposing sort of like one very narrow idea of what a rom-com is, where I can point out like 50 rom-coms right now where the leads are not even the funny thing. It's mostly the situation they find themselves in. And this situation is very much, if it was done well, could have been very much funny. Lying that you have a
But
child that you don't have, very much funny. Your aunt and your mom taking that up and then deciding this is our child, and that whole craziness, the hijinks, quote unquote, that's the comedy. Even the cousin showing up, the little rain thing where she trips and whatever, it's comedy. It's badly done, but that's all comedy.
I don't necessarily disagree with you altogether. But you see, another reason why I'll say that's not comedy and is probably not intended to be comedy, or at least, well, I don't know, in its execution at least. I think it was Jordan Peele who said the only difference between horror and comedy is music. And I think that's sort of the case too with comedy and melodrama. And with the highly sentimental, tearful piano music that plays throughout all these scenes, it creates a tone of melodrama. I don't think they were trying to be funny. I mean, if they were trying to be
Exactly.
funny, then they just misunderstood what music does, and then that changes my whole idea of
I
what
mean, they use
The
music
romance
badly the
the
whole
romance is
movie,
played
first of all.
no, the romance is played so straight, like so straight as a romance and drama. Like Shafi's just being funny. It's not well, I
If
don't know
you
that we need to
open
spend
a
that much
list
time
okay,
of the top 50 rom-coms in history of rom-coms, none of the main characters are funny. Let's be for real. Are we saying Harry,
no,
when Harry met Sally,
I
they are
didn't
funny? My best friend
the
wedding, the
comedy comes from
characters
Harry
are
and Sally. Are you kidding me? The most famous scene from Harry Met
is
Sally
what?
is from the
okay.
lead. What are you
Yeah,
talking
Can,
I
about?
wait,
know.
wait, 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 wait. I just want
It's
to
not
say,
the
by the
characters,
estimation,
it's the things that they find themselves in. I feel like we are saying, you people
okay,
are worrying about execution. I feel like me and Otas have said, it is badly executed. It just doesn't
it,
change the fact that it's a rom-com. Did they use music
it's not
horribly?
a rom-com.
Yes, because even me, the music was nonsense in my personal opinion.
But it's not a rom
Like
com. But okay, by that
that's
estimation,
what it makes
let me
you.
take what Osas says, right? Osas says, "Oh, the comedy." By that estimation, almost every tragedy or Shakespeare tragedy should be a comedy. Although some people do say
And
should
you
be a
can't
comedy.
even get
There's
Shakespeare
always
from
going
here
to
where you are.
be
Really.
in most stories. There's always going to be funny characters.
No.
But this
Name one Shakespeare
the reason why
comedy.
this is not a rom com.
Name one.
The
It's
reason why this is
fair.
not a rom com. Let me just explain. The reason why I'm not okay. I don't even know why I'm fighting for genre. I think all genres is just it's just not existing really. But like the idea that the person went to execute this as a rom com, it's like there is no. I mean, it's exactly as they said. It is played straight. They are not in a funny
Yeah.
situation. The funny situation was not the beginning. It's not the unsighting something of this. It's a serious situation for they're all paying it serious. It does end up in a it's kind of it ends up okay. At best, this could be a farcical comedy or something like Oscar Wilde's Right, but it's not a rom com. Yes, this funny situation comes in like 3,000 after setting up everything 3,000 something. It comes out of like the seriousness of the romance. The romance is serious. Everything was
But the comedy
serious.
starts
The
before
the
that.
child is serious. The comedy comes and it's very, very, the comedy is either whenever those two women are talking, and even the funny thing that we're going to be like, oh, this person is going to pretend like is the child. The reason that happens is out of the seriousness of this guy wants this girl. And even
Yeah,
if
how
throughout it, we're getting we're
all the
getting
comedy
we're getting like
happens
no,
in the seriousness
nobody
of the relationship
we
they're trying to.
we know it's going to we know
Okay,
wait
okay,
and let me finish. We
okay,
know
round up.
it's going to end bad, not funnily, because the woman even was Bimbo's character says this is going to end bad for me. I have emotional something. There's an emotional issue for this. She's expressing it in a very dramatic,
Okay,
not
that
comedy
I can
tone.
name
So,
um
and then when it happens at the
who
end, it
expect
happens in
that.
a very dramatic, not funny tone. I don't get how this is like a romance comedy. There's no like, and
Okay.
I'm not just using a
Veronica,
very
Veronica,
strict
Veronica,
something.
Veronica, hold on. Wait, let them speak. We've been speaking for a bit. Let's this speak. All right. Elizabeth, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, not to, tussle or whatever. I do see both points, but this is intended to be comedy. I mean, that ending with those funny t-shirts, really, that's supposed to be funny. Now, execution wise, yeah, that's something Jordan is generally lacking in. And you can see the comedy from Shafi, and sometimes even from me. Maybe our execution is lacking, we agree. But Bimbo is like the only serious character in this film. Even LG, whatever his name is even funny. Sometimes you're looking at his face and like, yeah, this guy wants to crack you up, but maybe not doing justice. Yeah, but let's not talk about this. It's supposed to be rough. Thank you.
All right. Okay. If you actually check what the genre of Big Love is under, it is under romantic drama. So I don't know. I mean, like maybe believe your hearts and believe how you feel inside you, but it seems like it was intended as a romantic drama.
They
All
don't
right.
know what they
Okay.
are
Does
doing.
anybody else? Yeah. Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
That's
Um,
that's the what we were saying. But that was part of my pushback. My pushback is that it should have been a romantic comedy. We should have that the the conflict between Timini and Bimbo should have been much more comedic. It should have had a comedic edge. That thing is played so straight. It is yeah. You can't. I mean, like anyway, we just move on. Um,
so I have to say something. This is my own pushback. Actually, I think most speakers tonight have, they have this hate towards Timini. I know it might be someone women would hate, and like most people would hate for, I don't know, for most things I would say, but I think we should take that off when while watching him
Why
in
will
a
you
movie,
expect from
because
me my own interpretation of Timoney's acting and then think it's based on other things that I haven't said?
Exactly.
Like, sorry, like, who are you? What do you mean? Are you inside my heart?
no, you're not only about you actually, because these people have been saying tonight that, oh, this is this and that is this
He's
and that.
not a
I
good
didn't really.
actor. Simple.
He was a
See,
red flag
Nollywood must change.
movie.
Nollywood must change. When we review on that film, and you tell us that you don't like somebody's acting, me, I'll tell you that is probably based on some other things
Exactly.
Yeah,
that you have seen and read.
you should take people at their words. I mean, like someone like me, I revealed my bias that I don't, but like my bias is actually based on the way he seems to be around female co-stars. It doesn't seem like a character. It feels like the person overstepping boundaries sometimes, and just like it just feels like an opportunist. It feels like the way you would, if you put any guy who has been looking at a girl a certain way in that position, it doesn't feel like a character. It feels like somebody happy
Again,
to
bad
grab
actor.
grab
Because if it's a good
things.
actor, it wouldn't feel like that. You would be able to
That's all.
separate whatever feelings he gives you as a person, because he would then be
Yeah.
portraying the actual character. But because he cannot act, he's not portraying the character. Let's not be missing words. Kamakuro Kamajali. He can't act. Abba.
Also, can we hire intimacy coordinators, or we have not reached that?
My sister,
My
have you
friend,
did the
calm down.
chemistry? You
Calm
did the
down.
chemistry
It's
test
not
before
calm
you will
down.
say intimacy coordinator. Is it because it's
It's
in
I'm
not
this
just
calm
film?
saying,
down.
no,
Is it because
I'm
in
just
this
saying,
film we had
maybe
chemistry? Is it because in this film there was chemistry
if
then?
we had somebody like that, Nollywood married
I
women might
beg.
feel more comfortable in romantic
We
scenes.
clearly don't have what to say again. Let's summary.
Maybe
Okay, not intimacy coordinator, somebody that will slap 2 minutes and during the shoot. How about that? Bring the gaffer. You can do it.
All right. Okay. Nollywood must change. Please give us your summary of Big Love.
I would actually recommend this movie. But I'll just tell the person, not like it's perfect, but if you want to have laugh because of Shafi Billy and the other woman, and if you're a fan of Biodun Stephen, I think you should watch the movie. So it's okay. I would recommend it. Yeah, that's
All right. Thank you, Vanessa.
Yeah, if you are, hey, I will recommend this film to somebody who usually don't used to see red flag. If red flag appear in your eye like purple, then you will like this film because then the romance will romance to you. But yeah, it has heart mainly because of the family dynamic. So watch it for that. Watch it because Kaluki Agu is a beautiful man. Watch it because Shafivelo is magnetic. Watch it because her chemistry with Jayukuti is beautiful. Like the family dynamics are great in this. Not for the romance. Don't come to this for romance. Come to it for family.
All right. Thanks, Vanessa. All right, Ichena.
Yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to say that it was some sort of powerful cinematic experience that will haunt me forever and give me images that will always dance in my head. No, it was just it's not a bad way to spend almost 2 hours or however long it was. Uh, it was pleasant, gave me some feels. It was all right. It's fine, you know what I mean? It's like if you watch movies for that reason, you just want something to spend some time and come away feeling kind of, a warmth in your chest, then this is good enough. Also, this is not talking about the movie itself. I want to thank Pearl because while I spent so many words trying to explain my feelings about Timini Egbosun, I felt that she summarized it so beautifully by just saying that he gives fuckboy, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. I mean, like, I agree with that as well. Like, the thing with the kissing as well. I was like, it don't look nice. I don't know what it was about, but yes, I think Paul also summarized my thing about the kissing. It just feels like somebody who's over enthusiastic. Um. Anyway, next is Ayinka. Please tell us. Yes, give us your summary.
I can do it.
What? What?
I can do your summary for you.
Oh, yeah. The movie was an okay movie. It was delightful in its way. You won't, and again, movies are only for one purpose, really. Okay, let me not say one purpose. But the main, like, objective thing we can say about movies is like you watch it You forget about your day. You just watch it to enjoy. And if on a Sunday night or whatever night you come out of work, um, you want to forget about things for other hours, put on a movie. If you don't like it, change it. There are a lot of movies in this world. Watch something else. And that's all that's my recommendation.
If I could just interject real quickly, you say that every week, and I don't agree with you. I mean, if that's you, the way you watch movies,
Excuse
that's
me.
completely fine. But I don't think you can say that is the only purpose of movies. I just don't agree with that.
Okay. What I mean by that, I will change my wording because of you.
No, no,
No, no,
no,
it's
no,
perfect. It's
no,
perfect.
No,
We
no,
love
no,
it.
no,
We
please,
no.
love
oh,
it.
please,
Please,
I
we
please,
do
love
this
it.
please.
every
Somebody
Sunday.
pass
Don't
summary,
change.
please.
Please, don't change it.
What I
Bless
mean
you.
by that is because there is what I mean by movies. I'm saying like the only like objective thing that we can say, because all other things about it is subjective and I cannot impose my views on people. So whether I like something or not, like you always say, whether sometimes you can see why, like for instance, I would Jackass is not made for me.
Mm,
I would never be into Jackass like
okay.
that. But there are people
Exactly.
who,
Mr. This film
Yes.
was made for me. You should not
and
come
there
to
is,
me
and
and somebody.
I
I
do
want
believe
to
there
say
is,
something.
I
Uh,
believe that everything, like there's something philosophical about life and about things that people find enjoyment in. Just because you don't get it doesn't mean it's also not valid, and it doesn't mean it's also not smart. So that's what I mean by like the only objective thing that really movies really do is to entertain people and to make people forget or move or go somewhere or after a long stay night. That's the only objective thing. And you
Yeah.
give it 30 minutes or 20 minutes. I actually say give it 30 minutes or 20 minutes, which means I say give the movie a chance. And if you don't like it, you can move on to another movie. You
oh,
have like you can change it, it's your choice. And there's a lot of movies in this world
all
in the last 100 something years. You can do that. That's what I mean.
right. Thanks,
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 Anka.
Anka. Thanks, Uchenna, for giving us a more fleshed out version. All right. Now we can refer people to this episode if they want the fleshed out version. All right. Elizabeth.
Yes. So before I go into my own summary, I want to say that you know what I love when you come like she gives this thing every Sunday, but God help Muabudu, let her release something. Wallahi, when you come, not give her one chance.
That's not true. There's only one movie I've recommended nobody
Oh,
to not watch.
okay,
And
okay,
everybody knows
okay,
what that
okay.
movie
If it's this
is.
Abuja guy, okay, if it's this Abuja play guy, you will not give him one chance. 1 inch like this, you will not let him have it.
Look, yes, I have been critical, but I told people that they can watch it and enjoy it. That's not true. There's only one movie I've said do not watch. One.
Fair
Now, like
enough.
2 movies ago, you were like, I
Fine.
wouldn't
Oh,
recommend
but
it.
like,
Fair
there was
And it
one
was so
recently.
fun.
Because I can't remember what it was. There was one recently. Because she
Yeah,
can't.
it was very recent. It was like 3 movies ago or so.
Actually,
And you know, if you can't
Even
trust
that
feedback, I
movie that
will
I said I
recommend
will
it.
not
Yeah,
watch,
check
I said
it.
other people could watch it. I said other people could watch it. There was only one movie I said nobody should ever watch.
for
But,
that.
and everybody knows what that movie is.
Yeah.
You know, that's fair.
All right. She
You
doesn't
know,
want to speak the name of
Okay.
that.
Film which shall not be named. This man's battery will soon die. Who's next? Let's keep it moving.
Okay, I'm next actually. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching Big Love, guys. Okay, the reason why I liked or enjoyed watching Big Love is that I've missed Biodun on Europa TV. I begged for Roku TV. I unsubscribed after 10 years of subscription. I was so proud of myself. Then last week I was like, yeah, let me sneak in, let me check if there's something. And then I checked that these guys, they are doing something, whatever to their server. I'm like, yeah, maybe I made the right choice. Anyways, the point is I've missed that sort of miracle romantic rom-com film, even though half of the time they were unhinged. So I wanted to watch it. So this reminded me of that. It's sort of like a departure from the ones we watch on YouTube for those of us who go on YouTube to watch all this. So it's sort of like it's like a middle ground, right? Something more elevated, and something not YouTube. So I like it generally. I like especially the family. I think it has heart, which is Biodun's trademark. She really wants you to have that thing. And she's a big human observer anyway. So you see that she has all these human pieces in there. Watch it, I will actually recommend. If you're old, if you find it red flag, I think, again, I think I may be biased. Maybe because I've sort of like recognized Biodun's work and her formulas and everything. I feel like I probably wouldn't have seen these huge big red flags like other people would. Maybe if it was somebody else that made this movie, maybe my pen would have been working by now. But with Biodun, I'm just like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you should watch it. That's it.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Tash.
Okay, I did like watching this movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it had a lot of good chemistry between sort of the family, and the casting choices were fun, except for one who I shall not name. Um, but I really liked Shafi in this. I think this is one of her better performances from everything else that she has been in that I can think of in the last couple of years. And I hope we sort of see more of this kind of natural acting on in other movies. I would recommend it. I would recommend it. I definitely could see, especially my family, having fun with this movie and just watching it. Would I watch it again? Yeah, I probably would watch it again. If somebody else was watching it. It was a solid 6.57, maybe even 7.5 on a Nollywood scale. And so yeah.
All right, thanks, Tash. Mrs. C.
Okay. Like you said, I watched this film after Killers of the Flower Moon, and I think
Oh, that was the same as me.
yeah, I know, shocking. And I think that mellowed me out. So I don't know. I didn't feel much. I didn't feel much watching this. Strangely, I think it helped manage my expectations for this film. So I was like, it's fine. But now that we've been talking about it, although I did see the red flags that I told you, love bombing, as we were watching it. So yeah, it's like, and now that I have been convinced that it's not a rom-com, I can't forgive the unhingedness. I thought I'll let the unhinged stuff slide because it's a rom-com, but it's not a rom-com, so it's unhinged, and it's not a good example for young girls.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll repeat what I think I said during my bad is that this is Biodun in second gear. The only thing I think worth is commenting on is there are good spots of acting from Bimbo. Shafi is fun. The story does sort of work, but like I couldn't care about the journey for this. It was so flat. I couldn't care about the connection and the chemistry, so it didn't work for me whilst also being inoffensive. So yeah, do with that what you will. But yeah. Anyway, next Sunday on Nollywood Film Club, I think we might have a couple of options. I don't know. I'm waiting for Netflix to give me official. It's Netflix I used to trust. There've been a couple of things. There might be the origins, Madam Koi Koi. I've also seen some things. I haven't seen anything official from Netflix about Madam Koi Koi. I would check, and I'll I'll have a look. Maybe put up for advice.
It's
Advice.
I
Halloween.
beg of you, just
Something.
give good,
It's
good,
Halloween. We get
inoffensive
something.
movies.
We should go spooky.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. It might work. But the origins of Madame
Koi
Koi
Koi, yeah.
might seem like the more distinct. But like it would technically be, I think. Oh no, it would still be October, right? Okay.
Yeah. Because it'll be Halloween.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. That's yeah. Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But thanks, guys. I appreciate all of you guys. This one was very entertaining. Thanks to all the people who did join on and didn't make it to the end. But thanks for you guys, some of you guys in there, we see you, Wayne's Rant, and thanks
If you shout
for
at one
joining.
person, shout at everybody.
Yeah,
Social
Pam.
list. I love you. You're not here. I hope you come back. You are my favorite.
Who's this?
The socialist, whatever her name is.
Socialite.
I love her.
All
Yes,
right.
I wanted to shout out to socialite too. She seems to have gone, but I don't think
Man.
I've laughed that hard in quite some time. So
Oh
I,
yeah,
I,
shout out to Timini's sunglasses.
Timothy sunglasses. That yeah.
Okay, so
I don't think
Timini is
the
now with
socialist can
what's her
survive
name?
being a Nollywood Film Club regular because that kind of anger will just, she's going to have a stroke if she comes.
It's not sustainable, but it was very funny.
It's not sustainable at all.
No,
You know,
everyone deserves a
Nollywood.
rant. Everyone deserves a rant on Film Club once in a while. Everyone deserves to go on like a rant on Film Club.
Yeah, it does happen. No, but
It's good for the soul.
You guys keep encouraging like the worst parts of us. You guys
hey,
should not do that.
we just
See, we're
encourage
here on Sunday
truths.
night so that when you people go to work on Monday, you have peace.
Truths.
You've let everything out.
Hey, whatever. As long as
You know the best way to have peace by not introducing us to watch horrible movies, right, Mr. C?
This is why I mute you.
I would never watch
This
some
is
of
why-
those movies
This is why I
by
mute
my own
you.
self if I wasn't encouraged.
All right. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys. I will see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.